The highly anticipated Chat GPT-5 has officially launched. There's been a lot of talk over the past few months about GPT-5 and how it would impact the space. But did it live up to what people said it would? Well, if you look at the benchmarks, and I took a look, here's Perplexity showing GPT-5 relative to other platforms like Claude 4.1, Opus 4, which also got launched this week, Grok 4, OpenAI o 03, GPT o 03, and GPT 4.0. You'll see that GPT 5 definitely performs most of these platforms by a significant percentage. When it comes to coding, Opus 4.1, which the Opus model, the Opus 4 model has been the top when it comes to AI and coding. It's pretty close according to this mark here, 74.9% versus 74.5%. However, these benchmarks, and you'll see different stats in different places. If you go to LM Arena, for example, you can compare different leaderboards where it shows how the different models stack up in regard to different kinds of actions, whether it's more generative, Gen AI, conversational, and so you'll see GPT-5 here at the top of text, GPT-5 at the top of web, and people score them right and for these different stats here. And what I would say is there's definitely a difference in how it's been received and the way people are talking about it versus what it's like in practice. I noticed that when it launched, and there was a live stream yesterday by OpenAI, everyone was talking about it like this is going to change everything, right? The AI space nothing was the same. Even during the session, Altman was talking about software on demand and being able to just prompt your way to, full on apps and everything, right? And there's usually a lot of hype when it comes to these things, especially when they first launch. But when I went and actually used the platform, I will say that I've been impressed with the improvements made. So it's definitely better than GPT 4.0. It's definitely communicates more like a human, right? Like the outputs are closer to what you would hope for the outputs to be. There's less hallucination. It is also good at front end coding. However, I also have some of my qualms about it as well. So one of the things is like if you look at your ChatGPT, if you're a ChatGPT Plus or Pro user, it has now replaced all the other models. So it's just GPT-5 here. GPT-5 Thinking and GPT-5 Pro, which you have to actually be a pro user on the $200 account in order to use. And one of the goals with GPT-5 is that it would replace everything else, and so that it'll actually use different models within its prompt responses on its own. So it'll choose what model to use or what type of reasoning or thinking or response that one would take from a particular model. It will choose that while it's coming up with its response. And so that kind of gives you less control over uh, the output, because whereas you might have used 4.5 for writing, or you might have used o 03 for research, now it's choosing how it wants to respond. But I will say you have GPT-5 thinking, which is the reasoning model, and it'll give you more in the way of thorough answers. I just got GPT-5, the actual rollout on my end today, but it's also on Cursor right now. So if you use the AI Copilot Cursor, you can actually use GPT-5 for free right now for the week. And so whether that's GPT-5, they have GPT-5 High, which is the thinking model, GPT-5 Fast, which responds faster, and GPT-5 High Fast, which sounds crazy. And so they're different. They're still, OpenAI's kind of going along this path of different models of like high and fast and just base model, which can be very confusing and hard to like really know what to use and when. But all in all, it's a step up from what we've had. I think the biggest plus is the price. The pricing is 25%. I want to say the price of Claude Sonnet, and so this is a much cheaper model, especially like if you're coding with it. However, if I'm being honest with you, and I tried it within Cursor yesterday, if I'm being honest with you, I so far prefer Claude Sonnet 4 to GPT-5, and I would definitely prefer Opus to GPT-5. The problem with Opus is that it's so expensive to use, especially if you're using Claude Code, and if you and to really be able to maximize the use of it, you would have to get either a Claude account. Um, you have to get a Claude account, and so it's way less expensive to use GPT-5 in coding than even Sonnet. So that's a plus. However, overall, it and what I'm hearing, and I agree with this, is that it's not this GPT 4.0 to 5 leap, or the last model to this model. The leap isn't anywhere as significant as the leap from GPT 3 to GPT 4. Right, GPT 3 to GPT 4 felt like a quantum leap, right? Whereas GPT 5, it's feeling kind of regular, to be honest. And I know quite a few people and companies had access to it, have had access to it for a couple of weeks, and I'm hearing that it kind of gets better as time goes on. Like you start to see the differences as time goes on, because I know it hallucinates less than other models, significantly less. You see, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I can go on about some of the pros and the cons. Another con is the context window isn't that great within the GPT-5 Plus plan. I believe it's only 250K token context window, which isn't much at all. And I know that Altman is starting to change some of the rollout to accommodate Plus users. So you see here, GPT-5 rollout updates. We're going to double GPT-5 rate limits for Plus users as we finish rollout. We will let Plus users choose to continue to use 4.0. We will watch usage as we think about how long to offer legacy models for. GPT-5 will seem smarter starting today. So they are making some changes, because it was a rough sort of adjustment where there was so much hype, and then you started using the models again. Like I use it a lot within Cursor. I got access to it today in the general chat, and it's been cool, but it's not feeling that much different for me, to be honest. So we'll see. What do you guys think? Will GPT-5 continue to improve? Will it get better over time, as I warm up to it? But I will say I like that it decreases the price of being able to code if you are coding with the model. But otherwise, it sounds like Claude still sort of holds the seat for the top coding model. So there we go. GPT-5 has officially launched. This was like meant to be the climax of AI, and this week has felt like the Super Bowl of AI. I've heard a couple of people say that, in that you've had a bunch of different launches, from Google's Genie 3 video model or world creating model, rather, to Opus 4.0, to GPT OSS with the open source models, to now GPT-5. So we'll see what happens next. 5 months left in the year, and this AI space is just rolling.